Okay, I think it's time, and I see that some people is already joining. So welcome everyone to Sri's webinar about MySQL 8 improvements in asynchronous replication. Sri is our MySQL consultant at Database. I'm looking forward to hear what he has to tell about these improvements in MySQL 8. Before starting, just a quick reminder about who we are. So Database is a small consulting company which provides services and consulting about databases, in particular MySQL, but also MariaDB, PostgreSQL, and Cassandra. So we provide many types of consulting and services in case you have problems with performance, scalability, or you want to set up new solutions, you can contact us. So again, I'm going to let Sri talk for the rest of the webinar. If you have questions, you can write them in the chat, and Sri will answer at the end of the webinar. So please, Sri, you can start.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Federico. Uh, and hi, guys. Welcome to our webinar. And today we are going to see about the MySQL 8 improvements in asynchronous replication. Okay. So this is about me. My name is Sri Shaktivel. You can follow me on the Twitter. I am currently working as a MySQL consultant at Database. I have overall 7+ years experience in the MySQL ecosystem, and I like to contribute to community through the blogs. Currently I am doing through the blogs and YouTube. I am making the technical videos. You can follow me there. And this is about Database. At Database we are providing the expert consulting for the databases like MariaDB, MySQL, Postgres, Cassandra, and we are also doing the training for the DBAs, DevOps, developers, analysts, and we can support the automation, automate the task using the Ansible or the suitable solutions. And we are also providing the debug service. So we will ready to help for your MySQL related issues, and if you are planning some maintenance or if you are planning some patching update, those all tasks we are ready to help. You can contact us in the sales@database.com email. Let's start with the topic. This is the agenda of the talk. We will see the quick introduction about the asynchronous replication. Then we will see about the overview of the MySQL 8 enhancements in the asynchronous replication. I made the bullet points. There are actually a lot of things to include here. I try to uh, find the important things and I try to make them in this slide. And finally, we will see three demos. I feel like these are the three major features we have in the MySQL 8. So for these three topics, we will see the demo. Okay, I have prepared the environment already. So we will see the demo for these three topics as well. Okay, so first, the introduction about asynchronous replication, a quick introduction. Like uh, uh, MySQL asynchronous replication is introduced from MySQL 3.23, that is very earlier. The asynchronous replication means that this is asynchronous, like your primary will not wait for your secondary nodes. It will continue to do the job, and your replicas can connect to the primary anytime and it can get the data. Okay, your replicas will act as a backup, and you can do the patch configuration using that, and you can also make some load balancing, like splitting the load, select reads. You can split the loads from your primary to secondary to avoid some resource usage in your primary node. And you can also use your replica as a reporting. And there is also furthermore benefits, you can configure your replicas, your delayed replica to get the data from the accidental deletes or writes, whatever. Okay, then let's start with the MySQL 8 enhancements. The first one I would like to tell you about the terminology changes. Okay, so this is introduced in MySQL 8.0.21, and the latest version release also have some improvements with that. Okay, so previously, I mean, before MySQL 8.0.21, we are very familiar with the master slave, blacklist, whitelist. So mostly we use this master slave, right, for the replication, master slave replication, master replication. But somewhat that community, they feel like we have to use the proper words for that wording. So these are the four words are changing from old to new. Okay, instead of master, we will use the source, and slave to replica, blacklist to blocklist, and whitelist to allow list. Okay, so this is actually not very just easy change. Okay, actually, MySQL team is working very hardly because this is introduced in 8.0.21, but still it is not completed. Okay, from MySQL 8.0.33, that is a very recent release, there is a change, like they change the error messages from converting that this old terminology to new terminology. Okay, and you can also see some warnings, like if you are executing like show slave status or change master. When you are using master and slave in your MySQL client, you might see some warning. You see that in the show warnings command. There we are changing from master to source and slave to replica. You will see. So get familiar with this. So going forward, we are going to use this new terminology words. So we should adapt with this. And regarding the asynchronous replication, there are some new tables introduced in the performance schema. That is very recent release 8.0.1. There we can get some more details about the connection and the up layer status. Okay, like what is the last transaction process, what is the last error message. That is quite useful. So this is introduced in MySQL 8.0.1, and we have the new variable binlog expiry log seconds. So before MySQL 8, we do the expire with the expiry log days. So this is like more precisely we can now do with the seconds. So and also expiry log days is deprecated, and hopefully that will be removed in the coming releases. So uh, uh, we have to familiar with this. Uh, and also you can configure the binlog expiry more precisely in the seconds. Okay, then before MySQL 8.0.1, we can just execute the reset master. So when we do the reset master, it will remove all the binary logs, and it will create the new binary log with the suffix 1 with the position 157. Right, there is no data. It will just create the, it will remove the all old binary logs, and it will create one new binary log with the suffix 1. From MySQL 8.0.1, we can also use the reset master with option 2. Okay, so I provided a little example here. So if you see the last master status, which is binlog with suffix 12, so which means that we may have 12 binary logs, maybe. Okay, but that is the last binlog. But when I just run the reset master, what it will do, it will remove all the binary logs, and it will just after that it will create only one binlog with the suffix 1. But from MySQL 8.0.1, we can choose from which binlog we have to start. Okay, that we can choose. So here in this example, you can see here reset master 213, and after that, when I execute the show binlogs command, I can see the binlog is created with suffix 13, only one binlog. Okay, this is introduced in the MySQL 8.0.1. And binary logs, I mean, binary logs which created older than MySQL 5.0 versions, that is not supported anymore with the from MySQL 8.0.2. So which means you cannot configure the replication. Maybe you can, but that is not supported. Okay, you can and also MySQL binlog utility also not supported for the binlogs which is created earlier MySQL 5.0. So this is introduced in MySQL 8.0.2, and the default values changed this from MySQL 8.0.2 for the following four parameters like master info repository and relay info repository. This is previously file. So for more like cache, we have this two status will be stored in the table, and also that they are InnoDB table. Okay, so in this case, this is like more crash safe. So we are switching this as default from file to table for these two variables, and also slave row search algorithm, which is index scan and hash scan. Okay, so which means this is for the non-primary key tables. It will build the hash to speed up the operation. And expiry log days is also set to 30 from the MySQL 8.0.2 version. Then there is a new parameter which is introduced in MySQL 8.0.11. The parameter is RPL underscore read underscore size. Okay, so the purpose of this is by the default value is 8 KB, which means it will define the minimum data read from binary logs and relay log. So if I said 8 KB means it will, for each read it will read the 8 KB of data from the bin logs and relay log. So if you feel like if you are hitting more read IOPS because of these two files, maybe binlog or readlog, then you can consider to increase this value to improve the performance. So for example, for the single IOPS, if you are reading 8 KB, if you are increasing this from 8 to 16, then for the one read IOPS you are reading 16 KB. So in this case, you can reduce your disk IOPS and you can gain some performance. But this is also dependent. We have to test it, and if this is going to really help, then we can consider to use this. And multi-threaded replication is default in from MySQL 8.0.27. So when after, from this 8.0.27, whenever you are starting the replication, you will have 4 threads, parallel threads, and your type is logical clock. That is the default. Okay, from 8.0.27. And here from MySQL 8.0.32, we have the invisible primary key for the replicas. So because the primary key is very important, right, for the replication to avoid the lags, replication lag. Uh, Primary key is very crucial thing you should have in the table. So in case if you don't have any primary key for the NODB table, then from MySQL 8.0.32, you can create the invisible primary keys for those tables that we need to include in the change replication source command. The value is required table primary key check equal to generate. If you set this, then for the NODB tables which don't have the primary key, that will be created with the invisible primary key. Okay, so this is about theory part. I made some bullet points here. Then we are starting with the demo. The first one I would like to show the demo for partial JSON update. Okay, so this is introduced in 8.0.3. Let me tell you what is this change. Okay, so it will write the change instead of bulk JSON document. So for example, you are writing the change in the one row, and you have, I mean, your JSON column is quite big. Okay, it is like very big. Just consider in that case, if you for each and every update, if you are writing your document in the binary log, then it will take some time to write in the binary log, and your disk size will be grow. And if you are configure the replication, your network also you are transferring more data, right, through the network. So in this case, you will be impacted with these three things. So to avoid this, from MySQL 8.0.3, we have the partial option for the binlog row value option. If you enable this, then only the changes will be written in the binary log, and only the changes will be copied through the network, and only the changes will be created. Okay, so this is about this feature. So let me show the demo, so you will get some better understanding maybe. So I already created the table. Um, so the table name is JSON test. This is like a demo with a symbol. So mostly my demos will be very simple to understand. Just consider this with your production scenario. Okay, so here I have just one line of the data, but maybe in your production you may have some thousands or 10,000 or 4 lakh. You may have more data. Okay, so just consider this with your production scenario. Let's just think about it. So I have the table with two columns. One is ID and another column is the message. And you can see the message column is the JSON data type. And I already created only one row in this table. For the ID value is 100, and for message, I have different attributes. For M1, I have this value, and M2, I have this value. M3, I have this value. So I have different attributes, and I am storing some value. And this is my current setting. Binlog format is row, and binlog row image is full, and binlog row value option is currently null. Okay, so let me try to explain this. So here I am going to make one update with partial JSON and without partial JSON. Then we can compare. We compare the data in the binary log. I think that will be helpful. Okay, so I already prepared the statements here. So I'm just going to execute this update here. Okay, so I'm just updating the JSON test value, and I'm changing the M1 and one row matched and one row changed, and I'm checking the value, and this is changed. For M1 value is changed to AA something. So previously I have this much. Okay, for the M1 this is changed. Now let me decode the bin log. Into verbose, and this is my recent bin log file, and I'm using less. So here you can see I have bin log row images full, right? So here you can see the before image and the after image. For the column 2, which is message column, so this is my previous value. I can see the entire row is, I mean the entire column is updated here, and set after is also I can see the value for the entire column. So here you can see but we did the modifications only for the M1, right? You can see the M1 is changed here, but I can also see the values for M2, M3, M4, M5, all these values. Now let's apply the partial JSON, and we can see how that is working. Okay, so here I'm changing the values, and I am reconnecting because the new connections only will be affected. I just reconnected. Now I am making the similar change, just like mm, just number. I'm just doing like this, and it is changed, and I am viewing the values updated. Now let me check the binary log, and here you can see the JSON replace the values only for M1. Okay, but with the previous approach, without partial JSON, if you see, it was written with all the attributes M1, M2, M3, M4. All the values are written in the bin log. But with the partial JSON, I can see only the values which is updated. Okay, so this is, yeah, as I told in a start, this is like a single row. So but considering your production, your JSON document might be quite big, and if you are doing some update on the document, maybe it will generate the GB of binary logs. It will consume more network. It might create the problem, right? So from this version, just know that we can enable the partialization to replicate or write in the binary log only the changes. Okay, so this is about the first one, partial JSON updates. The next one is InnoDB ReplicaSet, which is introduced in the MySQL 8.0.19. Okay, this is the combination of MySQL shell, MySQL asynchronous replication, and the MySQL router. Okay, and using this, we can easily provision the node. For example, if I want to add the new node into the uh, replication cluster, you can easily do it using the clone plugin. Just you need to execute one single command. It will connect to your node and it will copy the data and it will configure the replication. It will take care of everything. You no need to manually take the backup. You need to prepare the backup and you need to restore. You need to find the position. To avoid this is simplified. Okay, using the InnoDB replica set, you can just provision the new nodes executing the single command. It will be work based on the clone plugin. Also, you can promote the secondaries to primary. You can switch your nodes. Like if you want to, if you do some maintenance work with your current primary, then you can promote the secondary node as your primary. Then you can work on it. Okay, in the world primary. So you can easily switch the primary nodes using the InnoDB replica set. So to implement this, we have some limitations. So here I mentioned it is only supported for the GTID. Okay, you cannot do with the binary log and the position based, and this is supports for the row based binary logs only. You cannot go with the mixed or statement, and replication filters are not supported for the replica set, and you should have only one primary and multiple secondaries. Okay, you cannot configure the like source to source replication. So here it is supported for only one primary, and all your secondaries should be configured under the primary node. Okay, and also this will not do the automatic failover. We have to manually do the failover stuff. So let's see the demo for this. So here I have created two servers. Uh, so first one, you can check the host name, which is 21, and this is 95. Okay, and I also mentioned the replica status output, which is empty set on the both nodes. They are the fresh servers. I just installed the MySQL server here and started the service. That's it. And you can check the version, which is 8.0.33, the latest one. Okay, so as I told, the replica set is combination of MySQL shell and MySQL asynchronous replication and MySQL router. So you should manage, if you are implementing the replica set, you should manage everything with the MySQL shell. Okay, that is recommended. So yeah, let's see. Let's create the replica set and we will see how this is working. So this is my first node and this is my second one. I also named it the replica set 1 and this is the replica set 2. Okay, so I am trying to connect. So let me explain the steps. So first we have to prepare the nodes because we have the limitations, right? It is only supported for the GTID and row based replication. So we have some limitations, right? So before creating the replica set, we need to meet our requirements. Okay, so for that we have to prepare the instance first. Then during the preparation we will create one new account to maintain the replica set. Then we have to switch to that account. Then we have to create the replica set. Okay, and we can add the instances, and finally we will see about the switching the primary nodes. Okay, so first let me copy this. I have to prepare both the nodes. Okay, what are nodes participating in the replica set? I need to prepare all these nodes. So first, let me connect to MySQL shell. I'm connecting through the URI option root at localhost and asking for the password. Okay, and similarly, I would like to show here as well MySQL shell URI root at localhost, asking for the password. I just logged in the MySQL shell on both nodes using the root user. Okay, now I am going to execute this command dba configure replication set instance. Okay, this command is used to prepare your node to compatible with the replica set. So let me execute, and at the start it will ask, this is not right to maintain the replica set with your root user, so it will ask to create the another user. Okay, so you can choose the second option, create a new admin account for InnoDB replica set with the minimal record grants. So I am choosing 2 and enter, and it is asking the account name. I am just giving any name like and it is asking to set the password and confirming the password. And after that, now my account is created. Okay, my account is created. Then, as I told, we need to meet some requirements to configure the replica set. So here it is telling, hey, these are the 4 variables which is not uh, meeting the replica set requirement, so we have to change it. So for the bin log transaction dependency tracking, current value, that is the default value commit order, it is asking to change to right set, and it is mandatory to have the GTAD mode, so it is asking to change the GTAD mode to on, and also we need to have the server unique ID to configure the replication, and it will choose, it will make it. Okay, and finally it asks, these are the changes I have to do, and do you want to continue? Yes, I'm just giving Y and giving S, and maybe it will restart your MySQL service for to apply this configuration, and still if you want to continue, yes. And finally you can see this configurations are applied, restarting the MySQL, and the MySQL is restarted. Okay, so now the configurations are applied. You can find this configuration in the mysql.auto.cnf in the persist configuration file. You can see this. So similarly, I am also preparing my other node as well with the same command here. Let me copy here and same, and creating the user, and it is also would like to apply the changes. Why? Yes, and this is also completed. Okay, restarting the MySQL, and finally the server is restarted. Maybe if you want to check something, then you can switch to SQL mode and you can check the value, like for example, if I'm checking the GTAD mode, previously it was off, now it is on. Okay, we can check that. Fine. So now we prepared both the nodes. The next step is I have to connect with the uh, account what I created. We created it, right? So with that account we have to connect. So for me, connect rep at replica set 1, and this is my password. Yes. So now I connected with the uh, new account. Okay. Um, the next step is I need to create the replica set. So for that, I have to use the utility like command line replicate, create replica set, and here I need to provide the name. You can provide any name. I'm just executing this command, and here you can see it will check the requirement, and after that it will update the metadata, and finally it is created, and this is my replica set. So to obtain the value, I'm just setting this, I'm just assigning the output of dba.get replica set to replica set. Okay, now I can check the status, like, so here you can see my replica set status is currently I am running with the only one node, because I just prepared this node but did not configure it. Okay, I just prepared this, and I also prepared this node and I created the replica set here. And when I check the replica set status, currently I can see only one node, which is status is online, and the mode is read write mode, and the role is primary, and this is the host name. And finally, this is my replica set name. Okay, Vita replica set. So fine. So what we did, we just prepared both the nodes, then we created the account, we applied the configuration changes, then we just created the replica set. The next step is I have to add the second node. Okay, because currently only one node is available here, right? Type is a thing, and I can see only one node. Now I have to add the other node to this replica set. So for that, we have the command add instance. Okay, replica set add instance, and I need to provide the endpoint for the node which I am going to add. So here replica set to and enter. So it is asking, like, you can see adding the instance to the replica set, current replica set, and this is the connection details from the second node, and this is also checking the topology, and it is checking the configurations are already, I mean, that is the node is eligible to join with the replica set. It is checking all the things, and finally it will ask you how you want to add the node to this, okay, to the current node, maybe the clone or incremental. You can choose which one is suitable. Okay, if you are having a lot of data in your primary node, and if you're adding some first instance, then you can directly go with the clone. Maybe if the node is already in the replication topology, but it was left for some reason, and you have all the binary logs data, then you can just go with the incremental. Okay, so for me, I am just going to choose the clone method. So for that, C, enter. Okay, then the clone plugin will be used to copy the data, and it will be restarted, and the replication will also configured. Okay, so here you can see the progress of your clone plugin, and here you can read it, like the instance is restarted and it is applied, replication is configured, and finally transactions are applied and it is joined. Now we have added the second node to the replica set. Again, I am going to check the status of my replica set. So here you can see now I have two instances. Okay, so this is my first node, and this is my second node, and here I can check the status. This is also online, and this is also online, and this is 9.5 and this is 2.1. So both the nodes are now added, and the primary instance is now in the read write mode, and the secondary instance is in the read only mode. Okay, so dot 95 is the secondary and dot 21 is the primary node. Okay, so my replica set is configured, and I can see the replication is configured. You can also verify, directly log in the server uh, by checking the status, replication status. You can see the IO thread and SQL thread both are running, and my replication is running. Okay, so now, so this is how we can configure the replica set. The next one is how to promote the secondary as a primary. So for some case, for some situation, I would like to take this node maintenance or some reason. Okay, I just want to take this node to the secondary node, and I want to promote this node as a primary. Okay, in that case, we have the option to do that. Set primary instance. Okay, there we need to provide the endpoint of the instance which you want to promote as a primary. Okay, so here I'm just going replica set primary instance, and replica set 2. I'm just promoting the replica set 2 as a primary. Just enter. It will validate everything, like your, if you have any replication lag, your replication status which is running or not, that all the things it will be validate, and finally it will switch the secondary to the primary, and your primary will be configured as a secondary. Okay, so finally you can see that 95 is promoted to primary node. Okay, now let's check the status, replica set status. Now you can see this 95 node is primary, instance role is primary and online, and you can see the read write mode is enabled here, and this 21.21 is now switched to read only mode, and um, uh, this is currently configured as a replica, and you can verify here. Now checking the replication status, it is empty set. Okay, previously it show the status, right, but it is empty set, and you can check here, show replica status. You can see the replication is configured now in the world primary instance. Now this is like our replication is running here. Okay, so maybe so this is how we can configure and how we can switch the primaries. And I would like to inform something here. Maybe if you are following the same demo to do something here, I just mentioned the replica set 2, right, and replica set 1, replica set 2, like that, right? So for that I have to add the host to like this IP with your name, which name you want to resolve. You have to add it. Then only you can use the name, right? In the command line. Just telling this. Okay. So this is about the replica set configuration and switching the primary nodes. Fine. The next one is asynchronous connection failover. Okay, this is introduced in MySQL 8.0.22. This is like IO thread failover. Okay, uh, and also we have some table in the MySQL database. The table name is replication asynchronous connection failover. There we have to mention the secondary nodes, which node to be promoted as a master. Those things we have to mention there, and we have two functions to add the data into this table. One is add and delete. Okay, synchronous connection failover, add source and delete source. So when we make the entry for these two functions, that will update this table, MySQL dot replication asynchronous connection failover. And also to enable this, we have to use this option, source connect connection auto failover equal to 1 when you execute the change command. Okay, change replication source command, we have to mention that. And also we have some requirement like GTD mode should be enabled to achieve this asynchronous connection failover. So I this is a symbol diagram. So this is my architecture. I have the active passive setup like source 1 and source 2. They are like source to source replication, and my replica is connected to the source 1. Okay, and you can see the second diagram in case my source is failed. Okay, in case my source is failed, my source 2 is taking the receiving the writes from application. In that case, my replica will automatically choose the source as a source 2. I mean source 2 as a source. It will automatically do that. Okay, so let me explain in the demo how we can achieve this. Um, so this is the another environment. So the same situation we see in the slides, what the diagram, what we see, the same situation I have here. So this is my source 1, and you can see for my source 1, the source host is source 2, and this is my source 2, and here source 1 is the source. Okay, so they are in the source to source replication. Okay, both are in the source to source replication, and here I have the another node which is replica. Okay, so I did not configure any replication yet. I would like to do that in this demo, and we will see. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to configure this replica as a source for source 1. Okay, then I'm going to make down, I'm going to shut down the MySQL service on the source 1. Then we can see whether the replication is changed to source 2 or not. That we are going to experiment now. Okay, so for that, first I have to configure the replication. So let me log in here, and you can see currently nothing. The replication is not configured, but I already prepared the command. And coming to here, and let me try to explain this a little bit. Like this is the source user password and source host that I need to update. Source host is source 1. Okay, that is the source host. And as I told, uh, source connection auto failover should be 1. Okay, source connection auto failover should be 1. In this case only, it will do automatic failover. When you are running the change replication source command, we have to set this value. Okay, and this two values, source retry count and connect retry, that is quite big. So it will take some time to do the failover. uh, as we are doing the demo, I just reduce the value for these two values, that's it. Okay, so I'm just hitting enter and start replica and show replica status. You can see the replica is configured and my current source is source 1. Okay, so currently the source is source 1. Now in this demo, like here we see some tables, right? I need to tell, in case the current source is failed, then which node to be promoted as a next source, that I need to tell. Okay, so for that I need to make the entry in this table, MySQL.replication asynchronous connection failover table. I need to make the entry. So to add the entry, I have to use this function, asynchronous connection failover add source function. Okay, so now let's come to here, and so this is the function, asynchronous connection failover add source, and here I'm just changing to source 2. Okay, source 2 will be the, in case currently we are connected with source 1. In case source 1 failure, it has to be connected to the source 2. And the port, if you have the different port, you have to mention that. And finally we have weight. In case you have multiple sources, then you can choose based on the weight. So for that we need to choose this weight value. Okay, and let me execute this. um, Replica. So this is added. You can see add sources executed successfully, and we can also make sure by checking the table. So here you can see currently the source 2 is added for the second primary. Okay, in case the first primary goes down, it will be promoted, and the port and weight configuration is there. Fine. So now what we are going to do, this is my current replication status, and now I am going to shut down this. One second. And yeah, I am also going to make the entry for source 1. Source 1. And currently I have both source 1 and source 2 in this list. Okay, in case if my source replica is connected to the source 2, when the source 2 failed, then it will connect to the source 1. When the source 1 failed, it will connect to the source 2. Okay, so let's check this. So this is my replica status, which is currently connected to the source 2. Fine. And now I'm going to down the MySQL service in the source 2. So MySQL service is getting down. And here you can see the error is occurred, error connecting to the source 2, because this is like IO error. The status is connecting, okay, because we manually bring the source 2 to down. Okay, and let's wait for some time. And here you can see now the master, I mean the source host is promoted to the source 1. Okay, so the IO thread just point from source 2 to source 1. So here you can see the previously our source host is source 2, and we just bring the MySQL service up here, and after that you can see the changes in the status, which is giving the error like it is trying to reach the IO thread is trying to reach the source, and you can see which is connecting, the status change from yes to connecting. And after that, this is based on our retry configuration that we define in the change master command, right? Based on our retry configuration, it will take that time. Then still the source 2 is not reachable, then it will check the table MySQL dot that asynchronous replication, what are the entries we have, and based on the weight configuration, it will choose the another source as a source. So you can see the source host is changed from source 2 to source 1. Okay, so you can also monitor this from the error log, like so you can check it from here. The source server has changed from source 2 with the UAD to source 1, from source 2 to source 1, and you can see the current source status also here. So in case if you configure this and if you want to uh, monitor this, then you can monitor this from the error log. Okay, so this is about the connection failure. So this is only for the IO thread. Okay, so the GTID is mandatory. So the GTID should be enabled so that we can switch the source based on the GTID. Yeah, so this is what I have today. Maybe if you have any questions, I will try to answer.
So thank you, Sri. It was a great webinar, and it was really interesting, at least for me. Currently, I don't see any questions.
Okay.
Let's wait 1 minute, maybe, just in case someone decides to ask something.
Yeah, of course.
Please, guys, don't be shy. If you have questions, this is the right moment. Oh, just out of curiosity, you can probably see that I made 2 polls. One is, do you use MySQL replication? The other is, do you use MySQL shell? They have the same result. In both cases, 50% of people answered yes, and 50% answered no. Interesting. Well, probably after they saw this webinar, more of them will be eager to try MySQL replication with the improvements of MySQL 8. And I really suggest to do so because, if you don't have some form of redundancy, all your data is at risk. Do you agree, Sri?
Yeah.
Well, no one is asking questions, so I think it's... Oh, no, sorry, my mistake. Actually, there are 2 questions now. So one question is, what is the best replication solution, InnoDB or GTID? Do you want to answer?
Yeah. So here, DB means I'm not sure what you mean. Maybe I can tell the difference between the normal winlog based and GTD replication. So here, I would go with GTID from my point of view to ensure uh, like comparing the winlog based replication. The what I mean, if you want to switch your master and if you want to start your replication with the new server, the work is minimal comparing the winlog based replication, because there you have to manually find, you need to decode winlog. Unlike the position, you need to find the proper position, then you have to change application source command, and you have to configure the application. But from using the GTID, we can just run with the master source auto position. It will automatically find the uh, binlog file and position, and it will start to sync up. Okay, so that is one of the main advantage I am seeing comparing the binlog based replication and GTID. And if you are having the large replication environment, like maybe you are running with multiple secondaries with one primary, in that case I would definitely recommend to go with the GTID based replication to do the switches and all those things.
Great. Srinath is the person who asked the question, and he wrote thanks
Okay, thanks,
for
Srinath.
your answer again. So the other question is about, well, the question is, for connection failover, do we have both nodes in read-write mode?
Could you please repeat the question?
For connection failover, do we have both nodes in read-write mode? I think it refers to the read-only variable.
Okay. But yeah, is there any way I can see the question for my better understanding?
I honestly don't know if you can see it.
Hmm? So yeah, this is like maybe if you have read write mode on all the nodes. Uh, Actually, yeah, sorry, I have to understand the question. So maybe if you share in this chat, it would be really helpful.
Sorry?
Yeah, could you please share the questions in this chat to me? I can see the
I can
Q&A.
try to paste it, but I don't know if you will. Okay, you can see it now.
Yeah, okay. So for connection failover, do we have both nodes or in read-write mode? This is like here we are just switching the replica, right? We are just switching the replica to the source. So the source part we have to manage. Uh, we have to manage that, right? So in case you have the active passive node, your application is connected to the source, and your active node is going down, then your passive node may be in read only or read write. That if it is already in the read only mode, then you have to manually enable the read write mode in your passive node. Here just we are switching the replica. We are just telling the replica to choose the next source. That's it. I don't think that read write mode is the matter here. Okay, that source related things that we have to maintain separately. With this IO connection failover, we are just telling the replica to choose the next source in case the current source failure happens.
Okay, cool. So I don't see any other questions. So let me just remind everyone, well, I don't know if you noticed it, but basically we are having a series of webinars. So we hold a webinar at the end of every month, basically. Next month's webinar will be held by me, and it will be about MariaDB temporal tables. We still don't know the date, but you will receive an email anyway. So please stay connected to our webinars and our website. And thank you everyone for attending. And thank you again, Sri, for holding this great webinar.
Thank you. Thanks.
Bye, everyone. Bye, everyone.